Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. I was approached with questions about self-publishing a book of fan fiction based on anime characters. Can I just say, yikes! The whole subject of fan fiction puts me in a panic. I need to say that I am not a lawyer, nor does any of this constitute legal advice of any kind. The following merely informs you of the potential issues and challenges when in the fan fiction arena. Consulting a media liability and intellectual property or IP attorney before self-publishing any fan fiction is highly recommended. Let's clarify what is fan fiction. Popular books, movies, TV shows, art, comic and cartoon characters, music, and celebrities can have rabid fan bases. Fans may be so inspired by them that they write or create art based on the objects of their affection. These amateur fan creations are often referred to as fan fiction or fanfic, and in cases of art, it's fan art. Even if their skills are at a professional level, fan fiction is usually written by authors for consumption by fellow fans. As such, fan fiction can have little relevance or appeal in non-fan markets. Big question: is fan fiction legal? Fans who create fan fiction or fan art often aren't authorized to create any of these works if they have not received official permission from the copyright owners or rights holders to do so. Fan fiction may not be protectable under fair use as parody or criticism might be. It would more likely be considered a derivative work based on an original copyrighted work or other intellectual property. In the case of fiction works or fan art based on real people, living or dead, it may violate the subject's right to publicity. Publicity rights protect people from others using their likeness or image or any part of their personality, personal identity, or persona, such as voice, signature, stage name, costumes, whatever, for commercial purposes without consent and possibly compensation. In some states in the US, a dead person's survivors or estate can claim the right of publicity benefits. One of the biggest issues with fan fiction is commercial use. If you're self-publishing to make money, it's commercial use. That's typically when aggrieved parties want to enforce their rights. Some rights holders can be very aggressive in bringing lawsuits for infringement. Disney is a great example. Even if you're victorious in any legal claim brought against you over rights, attorney and court costs to defend yourself could be financially devastating. You don't want to go bankrupt over this, do you? Rights holders may still object to your use of their content or intellectual property, even if you don't self-publish for money. This is especially the case if the rights holder feels that the work is offensive or it could damage them or their reputation in some way. In spite of all these warnings, if you decide you still want to go ahead with self-publishing your fan fiction, get an attorney to help you investigate the possibilities of a licensing arrangement with a rights holder. Be aware that licensing could be very, very costly, and rights holders may not even be interested in working with you or even granting any sort of permission. The real problem with fan fiction is that there is so much gray area in these cases, and my mantra is, if it's legally gray, somebody's gonna pay. Don't let it be you. Get legal counsel before you jump into fan fiction and have them on call on your speed dial for any future disputes. What about fan fiction contests? Aren't those okay? Watch out for fan fiction contests too. While the rights holders may sanction the use of their IP or intellectual property for these contests, you may have to give up your copyrights for any submitted content, whether you win or not. Rights holders may do this to prevent any "they stole my idea" lawsuits. Always read the terms and conditions for any fan fiction contest before entering your work. But won't my fanfic help me get noticed? Don't think that popular franchises and rights holders, let's say Disney or Marvel, will be scouring the fanfic world to find new talent for book deals, writing assignments, or other creative work. They may even avoid people like you, again, because of the "they stole my idea" lawsuits. And it goes the other way too. If you self-publish successful fan fiction, you could put yourself on the rights holder's radar for a lawsuit against you. But what about works in the public domain? There is less risk of legal issues over rights when publishing fan fiction for works and intellectual property that are clearly in the public domain. I must emphasize this, and it's important. Public domain does not mean on the internet. Make sure you do your research. Seeking the help of an attorney to clarify rights and public domain status is highly recommended. From another angle, if the original work or IP is very old, which many public domain works are, it may not have any market appeal. You may spend a great deal of effort, time, and money in trying to rebuild a market that doesn't exist now, but maybe it did in the past. Big question underneath it all. Why do you want to do fan fiction anyway? I get it. As a Star Trek fan, I can understand why fans would want to do fan fiction based on any popular franchises, amazing character lineups, and storylines. But I have to ask, why don't you want to create your own characters and stories, birthed from your own imagination? Remember, readers of fan fiction are still just fans of the original work or person. True, you may build up a group of fans for your fan fiction work, but what happens when you stop writing that fan fiction? Will they still be interested in your writing? And what happens when the subject falls out of favor with the market or society at large and the fan base dwindles? Marketing your fan fiction work will take just as much investment as something you create from your own imagination. You're actually doing marketing for the original creator or rights holder who will not reimburse you for your efforts and cash outlay. You're also not building an author platform for yourself. Considering both the legal and marketing challenges, I don't feel that fan fiction is worth the risk and investment for me. Should you decide to do it, at least now you know some of the issues you might be facing. Hope you found that helpful. If you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. Your favorite? I'm probably on it. If you like the YouTube video better, you just have to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the audio or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books, which are never going to be fan fiction, are on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is search for my name, Heidi Thorne, on any one of those sites, and a list of all the available titles will come up. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com, and I'm most active on the social channels of Instagram and TikTok at Heidi Thorne. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.